Hey everybody, Marty Mazur. Good morning, June 25th, 2018, Monday. I'll keep it relatively quick this morning. Chart in front of you is our correction chart. Market peaked on January 26th, came down, created a bottom on February 8th, tried to rally, tested that bottom, established a downward sloping trend, tested it, beat it, found support. Bulls took over here. If we connect these two bottoms, we have our upward sloping trend line, and that would be support, presumably, from a technical standpoint. S&P breaks through there, you've got a lot of open space to come down and test other levels, and we'll address those if indeed we get there. Would be normal, by the way, in the course of history's corrections to actually see us come down and test this again before we mount our way to test the recent all-time highs. As I stated here, 209 days is the average length of your 10+% correction, historically speaking. We're kind of on that timeline. Who knows where we'll end up? Could take longer. If we persist with this big move toward protectionism, I think it will take longer. I think the market continues to struggle in this environment. Dow is down 300 points at one point, down 262 as we speak. Tech stocks are just getting absolutely hammered this morning. Keep in mind, tech companies, the majority of their revenues, by and large, come from foreign markets. This morning, the news is that the U.S. wants to limit the export of U.S. technology into China and limit China's companies' ability to make investments in U.S. enterprises. So that really gets in the way of capital flow throughout the world. I understand the intellectual property theft concern. It's a global concern. I just don't know that this is the way to deal with it. The market certainly disagrees that it's a productive way to deal with it. In fact, I think the rest of the world does as well. Europe this morning is talking to China about multilateral trade agreements across Europe. China and India are getting very cozy. China is fixing to make hundreds of billions of dollars of infrastructure investment into India. India just slapped tariffs on the US last week in retaliation for our tariffs. And besides China, Europe is engaged in another dozen trade agreement negotiations with other countries, none of which involve the United States. So this is something that absolutely unequivocally is problematic for our market and is problematic for our economy. I will say again, I am not suggesting at all that we should not address the problem of intellectual property theft. I just think getting in the way of our consumers' access to foreign markets, getting in the way of us depositing that capital in foreign markets so they can buy our exports and invest in our country is just not something that your portfolio is going to like, and it's certainly not something that the economy is going to like. And the political risk is absolutely enormous if it continues, and that's where I keep coming back to this idea that it is really the market that is going to inspire better thinking from world powers. As long as when they come to that place, macro conditions are as positive as they are now, and they are quite positive still, then you see the market violently rush back toward old highs and perhaps beyond. Not making a promise there, but that is the highest likelihood given conditions. But while we are embroiled in this trade war, both cold and hot, then the market's going to have a really, really tough time meandering its way to new highs. So stay tuned, folks. We will continue to stay the course that conditions dictate. And when conditions deteriorate, we'll be singing a different tune in terms about probabilities going forward. And we'll be accommodating for it within client portfolios. But again, this would not be the time based on the overall strength of general conditions. Thank you, as always, for watching and listening. There's going to be much more coming at you this week. We just updated our narratives on our top sector holdings, and I'm thinking maybe I'll share those with you later in the week after we clean them up. And hope you have a good day. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.